dim there. Not as dim as the user. My gear is turned up. I've got my furniture for this guitar, the likes of which I've never used. It's all a little bit alien, but that's fine. That's fine. We like alien. As I keep mentioning, every guitar build on the channel from now on, apart from this one, is a commission-based build. People are contacting me all the time. If it's something that I think is interesting and you're going to want to see it on the channel, then I'm happy to do that. I've only got so much space in the diary. Feel free to contact me using the email address below. So we've got some furniture. I can't remember where it all goes at the minute. So we've got to recess this out so we can get to this. Make that a bit up as I go along. But more importantly for today, I've got the furniture for me neck. So this is going to have a Fender style slope to it. So I wanted to make sure it's going to be far enough back. And I think that'll work quite nicely, actually. I might make it just a smidgen bigger just to be sure. So let's quickly draw that out. Well, I'll cut the worst of this off, give it a sand, and we'll come back and see what the shape looks like. It might be shit, but keep your fingers crossed and we'll be on to a winner. Well, here we go. Just dug out a hanger from downstairs. You can make your mind up whether that looks a little bit phallic.
Oh my God!
Not sure about that yet. We'll make it that shape. We can always manipulate it. I wanted it to keep it a little bit telly, but it does hang. So that's a win. We'll keep that as it is for a minute. Might be a disaster. Might be a little bit rude looking. As long as I don't paint it purple. So what am I going to make the neck out of? Well, let's do a little bit of maths. Let's do a bit of figuring it out. I've got some steamed eucalyptus. Never heard of it before. StewMac were selling it. That was £3.50. If StewMac sell it, must be amazing. I'm not sure if that's true, but we'll give it a go. And I've also got these random offcuts of oak. I used oak on the Revstar neck. It was a bit of a bastard to work with, but I wanted something a little bit heavier because we're going to have less neck to deal with. So we're going to go with oak. Not a one-piece neck, very unusual for me, but we're going to go traditionales. No need for any carbon rods because we're using oak. Make stairs out of this stuff. It is solid. That is our colour scheme, bearing in mind that the neck is only teeny tiny. Let's get the neck blank cut, shall we? Do the interesting bit, Paul. It's what people want to see. Waiting on a new blade for my bandsaw. That one wants to rip my arms off every time I use it. It's a bit of a pig at the minute. Put a brand new blade on the other day. Cut some bits of timber up. There's a screw in it. Killed it on the second cut.
Well, we're idiots.
So let's chop this out. Wish me luck. Hopefully I'll come back with 10 fingers. Don't know what that bit of frivolity was, but we got it in there anyway. So we've got a neck blank. Let's do some figuring out. Gonna get me center line. Bearing in mind I've got no body join to go off. Center line is everything. You know that as well as I do. Now I'm gonna just make sure that my 12th fret position, can't remember what fucking scale length I was using on this. 370, it must be Gibson. So apparently I decided to make it to Gibson scale length. I'm filming this one a little bit out of sorts. 313 millimeters to the 12th fret. So 313 millimeters from the 12th fret. That is where my saddles have got to go. That was technical, wasn't it? What pickup should we use? We've not got an actual telly bridge, so we can pretty much do whatever we want. My dad's old filing cabinet, bless him. Pickups, here's the stash. What should we put in it? I've got some Warman P90s that'll look spanking. A lot of this part of the body has to be rebated out, I know that, so that we can tune the fucker. I don't know how deep I'll go with that, we'll have to make that up as we go along. Because I've never built a headless guitar, funnily enough. Why do I keep doing things that I've never done? Because we like to push ourselves. In the words of Alfred,
why do we fall? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
Yeah, but that's if you're not filming yourself on the fucking internet for people to look at you and pick apart what you're doing.
Wankers!
I think that's going to look quite smart. Everything, nothing really matches that well. I'm going to have to get a chrome switch. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. What's the time here? 20 to 3. Hey, it's 20 to 3, so it is. Situations. I think that'll do me for today. I've actually got all week in the workshop this week. So we've got steamed eucalyptus. We've got an oak neck, which looks a little bit phallic. We're going Gibson scale length to keep everything a little bit teeny tiny. We're not going fan fret because I'm not a fucking psychopath. We're just keeping it plain and simple. Never thought I'd make a headless guitar. I always thought they were disgusting. Jury's still out actually, but I'm gonna make it because I've never made one, and that's what it's all about on this channel.
Early the next morning.
Cinematic walk on. Wanker. Next stage, as I've said before, we're doing things a little bit differently on this build. I've been doing loads of one-piece necks. This is not a one-piece neck. We've got an oak neck because we're making it out of fucking stairs. It's not actually stairs, but it is a big chunk of oak that I got from somewhere. And because there's no headstock, I thought I'd use it. I do actually like oak necks. They are immensely stable. Oak is absolutely brutally hard. A bit of a wanker to carve. We're doing our fretboard separately. I've machined this down. So far it seems a little bit chippy, but I like the colours. I like the streakiness. It's unusual. So we're going to do all of our work on that separately. I've got to make my mind out a bit inlays and all that sort of stuff, but we'll do that later on. First things first is over to the router station to get this machined off because it's minging. And I might change the headstock shape a little bit. What have I told you about putting your eyes and ears on? You have to wear your eyes and ears at all time. So we have our oak neck all machined up. That's pretty cool. Next step I've got to do is put the channel in here for the truss rod. This is going to be a spoke wheel truss rod because that's what we do around here. Because I like them, they're much simpler and easier on the eye. Don't have to take a big chunk out of the headstock either. I'm not going to put carbon rods in this. No point whatsoever. I'm not part of the carbon revolution, people. If I'm using something a little bit softer, then maybe I'll be tempted. Necks need adjusting between winter and summer anyway. Quarter of a turn, eighth of a turn, whether I put carbon in or not, I was still doing that at home, so I don't bother. The ultimate test will be this neck because this is white limber, one piece. It's got a truss rod. Truss rods are pretty amazing bits of engineering tech. If you think it needs extra help, you probably do too.
Go Google that shit.
Anyway, on to this channel sponsor. I'm only joking, I'm not sponsored. Not sponsored! I actually bought everything myself for this job. This is the truss rod I'm going to be using. Simple maths, 11.5mm deep. 69.42 thousandths of a milli-inch. Over to the router station. I'm going to have a little sweep up first. Otherwise, it looks a little bit less cinematic. Can't have shit everywhere. Right, so we're back on the bench. Everything's routed out. As you can see, we've got to just enlarge the hole. We've got to ream her out. Steady, that's your brain doing that. We're going to introduce a little bit of manual dexterity to this job. If I can find a fucking pencil. Cracking. She just gets marked out like yay. You can see that. She just needs a little bit of encouragement. Sharp chisel. I say sharp. I thought I sharpened these. That's pretty shite. There we go, and we're nicely housed out and everything is dead flat. Woo! One thing we're doing a little bit differently on this build, and we are doing it a little bit differently, is I was watching a Texas Toast video and they use a lovely little locating template set to do all the work on their board. They do all the work on their board. They cut it to size, they radius it, and they get it all smooth and lovely, all the inlays in, while it's off the neck. I've never done that. I'm going to do it this time. It's a bit odd. So I've had to make a little jig that looks a bit like theirs. Theirs looked great, and mine looks like a rough old bit of shit that I've chopped out. But the whole point of this little beauty is we've got a centre line on here. I've got a hole there so I can see my centre line, and the end of this represents where the nut goes. Put that mark back on there. There's our nut. That's simple, isn't it? That's an easy bit. So we're going to take this down, we're going to line up our centre lines. I'm going to drill a 4mm hole in there, and I'm going to use some little wooden dowels and snip them off. It's very weird, but let's do it anyway. Again, it's another stage whereby if you get anything wrong, you've only killed your fretboard. I normally do it all when it's in one piece. And I suppose if I did make a catastrophic mistake, and I've made many of those, you'd have to bin the whole thing. If it relieves the stress, I'm up for that. Got our 4 shallow holes. That lines up perfectly. We've now got a location system on our fretboard. None of this salt and glue and all that bullshit, bull buggery. Shit. That is fine. That works nicely for me. I'm a little bit chuffed with that and a little bit surprised. So he's a winner. I might do an updated, better version of that because he's a bit of a cheeky wobbler. If you've got this far in the video, comment cheeky wobbler and then I'll know that you're fucking stoic. Always get a set of stops. They're amazing. Super cheap on Amazonian. Looks a little bit like Jeff's rocket actually, doesn't it? The beef bayonet. Don't comment beef bayonet. I'm going to cut some fret slots and I'm going to radius it, I think. Well, that's one fretboard cut. Yeah, whether or not we radius it first or whatever, sometimes you get a bit of chip out. I don't think there's a right or wrong way of doing it. Do some inlays now, shall we? Well, eucalyptus is a bit weird. There's some weird and wonderful colours going on inside there. I have to wait and see what that turns out like. What should we put in? Should we go mental? So I'll have a little look at what I've got. Interesting drive down to the workshop this morning. If you're one of those people that speeds up not to let people in, I'd like to inform you on the behalf of the British nation that you're a... Okay, I've got my piece cut. A little bit of burliness. I'm going to glue that onto my 12th fret and try and get it as accurate as I can. And then once that's glued on, I'll score it out with a scorer. And then I'll use Big D Remo in the house. It's a bit weak really, weak as piss that thing, but it'll do for nibbling out this. We're only doing little teeny tiny work, aren't we? Could have made this any shape really. I'm keeping it simple because I don't do a lot of this sort of thing. But I will do if it's popular. Naturally, I have got some fancy scalpels and all the rest of it, but I'm a hairy ass carpenter. So I just like to use a Stanley blade. Off he comes. We've got a cheeky mark on there now. We can go at that with the Dremel. We'll keep 1/2 mil away from the edge. I'll put my reading glasses on because I can barely see it. And we'll nibble away. I'll get the camera in close so that you feel like you're part of the action. You can smell the cologne.
I'm touching myself tonight.
Right, because I've got this inlay in here, which at the minute looks absolutely terrible. So I'm going to profile this on the router and get this radiused correctly. I'm thinking of ordering a new radiusing jig because that one's a bit tired, a bit like me, very tired. So if I do that, I'll make a new jig for it and I'll make a video for that. And I'll show you all about radiusing so you can fucking bore yourself into a stupor. It's the afternoon session. I've got a nice little coffee. Bean to cup. We don't drink shit round here. We've got to move on with this neck. I'm building this guitar alongside another one that you're currently watching. I'm building this one at the same time to try and get ahead of my video schedule because it's an absolute nightmare. We've got to move on with the neck. We've had some changes. I've redone the inlay about 94 times and we've gone full width for the 12th, not quite full height with the tiger stripe. I did it the other way, I used something else. I've done a few inlays, they were crap. That's gonna look quite cool when it's bordered with frets. Simple, let's move on. I'm not gonna get onto the body for a minute. What I need to do on the neck with this massive great baseball bat, because it weighs an absolute fucking ton, I need to get the end of it scalloped using Eileen. That's her new name, Eileen. Named after Eileen Warnos because she's an angry bitch. You say what you want about Eileen, they gassed her years ago. Let's get that done, shall we? Shall we whiz through it? We love a serial killer around here, don't we? Here we are at Eileen's house, the crazy bitch. If you've never met Eileen before, fucking mind your fingers. Well, I'm gonna have to put some new sandpaper on Eileen. She's getting a bit smooth. But that's our result. Not bad, nicely scalloped, everything's nice. Let's see if the little nutty, bridgy string thing guy fits. Incidentally, I have now got a pressure pot in there. There she is, pressure pot. Too late now, I know. All right, say it in the comments. Too late now, Paul, Dick. Our massively heavy body can go there out of the way at the minute. That's really, really heavy. Don't know what to do about that yet. And our really heavy neck. So we're gonna have like a 99-pound guitar. So you're probably familiar with how we do neck pockets. Don't tend to use templates or anything like that. We just use 3 bits of shit. These 3 bits actually. I've shaped that one beautifully already so that when we route out our neck pocket, we're gonna cut out the spoke wheel truss rod bit as well. That makes life a little bit simpler, doesn't it? So for this, we're gonna use tape and glue. I need to make sure that what I've put on the body, the marks I've got already, which you probably can't see because they're in pencil, but I've marked this already from earlier procrastination sessions. I need to just make sure that they're right. So we'll double check that. Everyone loves a procrastination session, don't they? You just fucking move things around and draw lines, but don't actually do anything. So we're on here with a center ruler without moving the neck. I need 31 aside and we've got 31 there. Don't buy shit tape. Tip of the day. Talk amongst yourselves. Once I've got that one on, I'm just gonna double check. 31, I'm happy with that. Because we haven't drilled anything out here anyway, we should be pretty much fine. We can always tweak as we do that part. But we're gonna try and stay on our center line. I took the trouble to find the fucking thing, so I might as well use it. Right, standard Fender neck pocket, 19mm. Let's get over to the router. Well, after all that mess, lovely, we're there. Put them to one side, invaluable. Oh, that is a very, very tight neck pocket. But that's all good. That kind of looks weird, but that's all right. I can sit at home, I can play that. That would look nice in the garden, wouldn't it? We can still get 4 bolts in here, but I do that access because it's gonna be the Phil McKnight handshake. That's what we call it here. And we can reach every register. No one ever reaches up there, do they? That's just insane. Awesome fingerer. And I'm still toying with the idea of putting some carves on this body. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I want it to stay telly. Tellies haven't got carves, have they? I could easily get away with the standard body carve and a comfort carve and maybe a PRS-y bit here. I might go for that and slim the whole thing down and make it look a little bit more sleek. What do you think? Because my original plan of keeping it looking telly is kind of out the window, isn't it? It don't look telly at all. I might put a big round on it. We'll get a round over on the body and see what that looks like and we'll go from there. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Jesus wept for his disciples. Thanks everyone, I'll see you next week. I'm calling it a day. That's enough for me. I'm gonna go and play golf. It's Friday afternoon, the sun's out. That won't happen very often now for the next 3 or 4 months. But thanks very much, I appreciate you. See you later.